Winner take all. We have the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the fight I've wanted to see for a very, very long time. We have the super fight at middleweight, and it better be the co-main event. I don't think it's the co-main event because we're going to have another fight announced, probably at heavyweight. But we have the fight. And I'm going to say right now, based on predictions for fight of the night, that's what this fight's going to take. Guys, the sheer excitement of middleweights has been very, very, very telling. I mean, you get some of the most Harry Golovkin, one of the most some of the most exciting fighters in the game right now at middleweight. They stole the show. RBC 14. Jam and NJJ when those two fought twice, they stole the show. Ossie's one of the biggest stars in the game, and now we have the culmination. Guys, this feels like the culmination of the middleweight division ever since RBC 11. It's been building to this moment right here. We thought it would build to Jam versus Ossie. That's what we thought we were going to see. Then NJJ got in the way, and then he inserted himself in the picture. So here we go. All the twists and turns, the back and forth, Ossie Divine remained on top, and the IBF title being in a quest to see who will fight Ossie Divine. And we are now here. And I think a lot of you think NJJ is winning this fight. I don't doubt that he has a very good chance of winning, but I think we need to also take Ossie into consideration. Ossie Divine has a chance to become undisputed. Remember what happened to NJJ when he fought Jakob. It's a very, very, very important moment right here. Pretty much everything's on the line. Ossie Divine's legacy, NJJ's legacy. This is his last chance to be undisputed champion, which I know he pretty much wants to do more than anything at this point. I know he has his hit list, but this is it right here. Khalid Rashad and Jakob can wait. This is the big time. This is the fight that's going to define his career. He wants revenge against Jakob. He wants the money fight. Undisputed is more important. At the end of the day, I think no matter what NJJ's legacy is, this is the fight to make him right here. And it's very so. He's basically in his prime right now. I mean, this dude just beat Jam Jones, the number one, basically the IBF champion, who held that belt for a pretty long time. And now we're at this point. So what now? This is, man, I can barely speak. This is such, wow. I'm excited. Because the match stylistically is just amazing. I mean, you're talking Ossie Divine, who's very much a quick fighter. He doesn't like going late in the fights. I mean, he can if he has to, but time has shown that he hasn't. He has a perfect knockout percentage, I believe. So he's that dominant in that area. Whereas NJJ can end the fight whenever he feels like it. If he takes you into 12 rounds, he's most likely winning the decision. If he wants to knock you out in the first few rounds, he'll do that. If he wants to drag you to deep waters and wear you down to make you quit in the ninth, oh yeah, he'll do that too. But Ossie's a tough customer. However, the reason NJJ has the advantage here is because we haven't seen Ossie face the adversity in his title reign. He really hasn't faced much resistance. What was his most important? I mean, besides his fight with Noah Alexis, where it felt like he was about to lose that one, there was no resistance. In his title reign, he has been completely dominant. I think he's been knocked down once or twice. I mean, the dude has just... He hasn't had... I don't want to say level competition, because level competition is pretty damn good when you're considering the fact Kenny Young and Dodo Paul, even though people are going to get mad at me for the Kenny Young reference, I don't care. But he is just not just beating guys. He is finishing them quickly. He is so dominant when in these fights. And there's still so many guys at middleweight to go. You could make the case that we should not have this undisputed title fight right now. And I agree with you. We could have the Jam NJJ trilogy right now if we wanted to. We could have Ossie Divine versus Rebel Brook. We could give Harry Golovkin a title shot. We could give Ace Jones a title. We could give a lot of people a title shot. But not yet. Not yet because I don't feel like we're ready for it. And besides, we also have that big fight. Middleweight's going to be very, very key. I think welterweight's going to take more of the spotlight, not only because of the main event, but because of that Casper-Jakob fight. But middleweight's got a lot going on. Especially Golovkin versus Jaeger. That's going to be a big fight, trying to get back in the title picture. Both guys. But we don't have everything announced yet, so we have to obviously wait. This is the biggest fight in the middleweight division's history. It sucks that it's not the main event. I mean, I really wish it was a main event because that's what I wanted it to be. But I don't truly hate this. I just want the fight to happen. And it's no bias or anything, but yeah, I'm more excited for this fight than any other fight on the card. Even the main event. Like, no matter what else you put on here, this is the fight I wanted. And ever since day one, guys, day one, I have been obsessed with middleweight. I said those divisions are great. They got some great fighters. But you look at this one, and you tell me that there isn't talent here. Tell me that these aren't the highest level of high-level fighters. You can go over the list, and there are guys who are very, very good who are not shown. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. It's a very big deal. And going into the bigger picture, let's look at middleweight real quick. We have Gavitas moved in the top 10. Kane Rashad moved in the top 10. Okay? You know who's not on there? Myron Yeager. He's probably 11. Dax, he's probably 12. I just put out two big names that are not in the top 10 at middleweight. What does that say about middleweight? All 10 of these guys I respect fully. Completely. Harry Golovkin, one of the best fighters in the game. Kenny Young, he's a former world champion. Dodo Paul, former world champion. Rebel Brook is undefeated. That's what we're dealing with. The fact that this is not going to bring any closure to the bout of who the best middleweight of all time is crazy to me. It's because of Jakob leaving middleweight. That was really the problem. That Jakob left middleweight. And it left so much to be desired. But that's the great thing about this. Middleweight could completely change in 3 months. I mean, we're talking... Here's a scenario for you. What if... Ossie Divine wins this fight, right? Maybe we can crown him the best of all time. However, what if, when he wins, Rebel Brook beats him? Now, Rebel Brook never fought Notorious Jones Jr., but he just beat Ossie Divine. Does that make him the best middleweight of all time, or in the world even? It really depends on how close that Ossie Notorious fight is. I think the loser's still getting a chance at redemption at some point. So if you lose this fight, it's not the biggest deal. However, I do think this is going to be the fight where you need to prove yourself. Not many people are going to give you a chance in that next fight if you lose. Because of the nature of RBC, and most of the time, we get these dominant finishes. There are cases like Jam versus NJJ where we get absolute classics. But I know how the game goes. We'll see in the coming days. It's going to be very telling, however. Now, on the basis of who's going to actually win this fight, it's really all about where this fight goes. I've said it multiple times. The fight is determined. I could be wrong. The fight is determined on whether or not Ossie Divine can go the next four rounds. This fight greatly favors NJJ because of his style. However, Ossie Divine is so good at finishing people very early. So NJJ needs to... Here's the thing. It's not going to be an easy test for NJJ. I'm just saying that the longer this fight goes, the more it favors him. And that would usually favor the challenger. But there's two things we need to keep in mind. First of all, Ossie Divine's a world champion, and he probably has the endurance to keep up with him. So take my advice for a grain of salt. I'm just saying that's how he's going to try to finish the fight. And he may gas himself out, maybe not. Second, NJJ's defense needs to be better than it's ever been before. He needs to do two things. He needs to be more active than he is. Not necessarily in the first few rounds. To be honest, he just needs to not get knocked down at all in those first few rounds. And another thing he needs to do is to play perfect defense. And obviously the volume. The volume is a very big deal. Once you get into the later stages of the fight, you're probably losing at least 2 rounds going in there. I could be proven completely wrong. Guys, remember, I could be proven completely wrong. And either Ossie goes 12 rounds and beats him, or NJJ beats him in the 2 rounds. I'm just saying, looking at past history, NJJ needs to start pushing it by round 5. He needs to use the volume. I can guarantee you right now, he's probably losing 2 rounds of this fight. 2 rounds of this fight. And it's mostly going to be in those first few rounds. But when he gets out of that, he starts chipping away. You remember when we saw the volume of him in the 12-round fight? That's crazy. The dude throws a lot of jabs, but he does throw a lot of good hooks. Hence the name Captain Hook. He's one of the best hook throwers in the game. But he's the greatest jab artist we've ever seen. Even guys like Ossie Divine have taken a page of his book. That's very important. Guys, Ossie Divine and NJJ is fight of the night. Guaranteed. These guys are going to go an absolute barn burner. And it's going to set the tone for the rest of the night. Very important fight. The biggest fight card of all time. What else do you want? What else do you guys want from this? And oh yeah, the Ring Magazine title's also on the line. We're having all the titles on the line. The winner becomes the undisputed middleweight champion, and it does not get any bigger than this.